So it's been nearly a year since moving out of my parents' house. I honestly can't believe we've been through a whole year. To be honest, it still feels new. This is my first ever time leaving. I never really moved out for uni. It was a little overwhelming at the start, but it was very exciting. So let me take you through our journey and the difficulties we've faced leading up to the home ownership. We started saving way back in college. I used to tutor maths, English and science to all levels, basically living that side hustle life. On top of that, I worked my part-time in a cafe selling bagels. That didn't stop when I got to uni. We kept saving, kept hustling. Once I started working full-time in the field I was actually studying for, things became more manageable financially. Combine that with my partner's savings and investments, we managed to get our first home. Almost a year in, I can honestly say moving out has made me so much more independent and organized. Like, I now get excited about paying bills on time. Like, who am I? We've got a meal prep system and bins actually make it out on collection day. And I even scheduled repairs, like, being a proper adult. But what's the biggest win? I would say personal space. Don't get me wrong, I love my parents, but back home, my room was my only escape. The rest of the house, fair game for noise, random interruptions, and of course, those awkward TV moments. You know the ones you're watching a film, everything's chill, and then out of nowhere, a wild sex scene appears just as your mom walks in. Internal panic and explaining that nope, I'm not watching adult content. And don't get me started on trying to cook. With all my dietary restrictions, I have to buy my own food, label it like a scientist, only for it to magically disappear. And as annoying as it was, I didn't have the heart to say anything because, family. But in all seriousness, one of the things that pushed me to move out was how much I was contributing financially at home. I was paying way more bills than I expected. For example, I was paying for the water bill, the internet, car finance, including insurance, gas for the car, even though it was shared between the family, and buying my share of groceries every week. All in all, around $600 a month, not including subscriptions like Netflix, while trying to save $2,000 per month for the deposit on our house. I do wish they've taken over some of that stuff. Still, the situation gave me a push, a reason to chase independence even harder. I would say even through this struggle, I'm happy that we were able to accomplish owning a house before 30, as I know the current average age of a homeowner is 35.
Unaffordable housing entrenches intergenerational inequality by restricting home ownership to those with wealthy parents. Today, over a half of all first-time buyers under 35 rely on the bank of mum and dad, and this fraction is expected to rise. The housing crisis essentially benefits older homeowners at the expense of younger renters. In 1991, 25 to 34-year-olds and 65 to 74-year-olds were about equally likely to own their own homes. As of 2016, only 38% of 25 to 34-year-olds own their own home, compared to 78% of 65 to 74-year-olds. This isn't because young adults today prefer the flexibility of renting, as is sometimes suggested. In fact, 71% of renters aspire to home ownership in the next decade, most likely because they rightly consider home ownership a great investment. To illustrate quite how good an investment a house can be, consider the fact that it's not unusual for a home today to earn more than its owner. In 2015, for example, the average home in the southeast increased in value by £29,000, while the average annual pay in the region was just £24,542.
And honestly, I'm loving it. Life in my own space has been freeing. I'm constantly learning about life, about myself, etc. But I'm sure we'll talk about it in the future. And thinking about our future, running a business, we never thought it would be viable because of the space needed. But now that we have moved out, I can see it as a great possibility. I'm sure we'll talk about it in the future. So yeah, that's it for this video. It's been a journey, it's still a journey, and I wouldn't trade it. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Is nobody opening the fucking door? Oh, it's on fire. Oh, it's fire. Open.